to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today Around Kansas has some great stories for you, starting with one about cottonwood trees, the state tree of Kansas, and their importance to early settlers. Then we take another look at some more fun trivia from production of the movie Picnic and learn about the impact of a major 1905 train derailment near Emporia. We'll end with a poem from Ron Wilson. Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road. Well, good morning. Here we are at the Dillon House again, our studio in the shadow of the state capitol in Topeka. I'm Frank Chafin.
I'm Deb Goodrich, and we actually have a shadow today because we've got sunshine. Isn't that wonderful?
Hey, at last, yeah.
Can you remember a rainier spring than we've had this year?
I know. Well, 177 years, I saw a report somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you remember that?
Yeah. That we haven't had it in 177 years. No, I remember back then. So anyway, so what's up with you these days?
Oh, gosh. It's summer's here. There's so much going on. You know, I'm headed out to Western Kansas. I just can't wait. I'm going to be in Oberlin and Fort Wallace. And then on the 14th of June, Michael Martin Murphey is doing a benefit concert for Home on the Range cabin. And you know, they got the highway there designated as the Home on the Range highway. So they have to pay for signage. So this concert is to raise money for the signage for the Home on the Range cabin. And Michael has been so generous to, fundraising for the Home on the Range. And we did some great interviews out there when they did the rededication. And so that's it's just awesome place, awesome folks, and it'll be a great event.
Hey, I'm going to go see a rock. No, there's a place called Teeter Rock. It's down near Chanute, and actually it's on a friend of mine's land, but it is an historic landmark, so I'm going to go visit Teeter Rock.
Okay, I've never been to Teeter Rock.
Well, you
and
will
I've
be.
seen pictures because a lot of my friends on Facebook, with the photography groups, paste photos of that, and it's really interesting.
It is. It is. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
It has some historical significance, which you will find out about.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool.
So anyway, and then what else is happening?
Hey,
oh, you have something.
My
your
calendar.
Camera, but
this
you
is
also
my calendar. It's like I've got this smartphone, but obviously I'm not smart enough to use it. But my calendar is just like a real calendar. I pick up at the grocery store or whatever. And on my calendar says that on the 20th, Territorial Days at Lecompton, which is a great time, and Wheatstock. And my alter ego, because one just ain't enough, is the MC of Wheatstock. So Dixie Lee Jackson MCs Wheatstock at Old Prairie Town.
Dixie Lee.
Dixie Lee.
Dixie Lee.
That's right.
Okay.
Y'all come and see me.
Hey, also, I'm going to pay another visit to the Jayhawk Theater. Some very exciting things have been happening there, and I mean, it's really on the fast track on its restoration, so we're going to talk some more about that.
Awesome. I tell you what, if you're bored in Kansas right now, there's just something wrong with you, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be right back. The historic Topeka Cemetery is the oldest chartered cemetery in the state of Kansas. Founded in 1859, it is the resting place of thousands of soldiers and pioneers, the people that created our state and its institutions. It continues to be the sacred burying ground for Kansas families. Come take a tour of historic grave sites or just enjoy the spectacular view of the Topeka skyline. Call us at 785-233-4132 to arrange a visit.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. As fourth-generation farmers themselves, they understand the importance of using the correct products on every acre. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag offers quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today at 800-760-4964 or find us online at HeinenBrothersAg.com.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield. Here we are again. My co-host, you may or may not know, is an accomplished author, and she also has a CD now, so I'm going to let her talk about that.
I've got a CD somebody gave me. I didn't make a CD, but yes, I don't know how they missed the fact that I'm an accomplished author, because we tell them every chance we get. People just give me stuff, Frank. They just come up and give me stuff. So when we were at the Sampler Festival, Kirk Drager came up and gave me this CD, and this is brand new from Kirk and Jim Campbell, and they are bluegrass folk musicians, I guess would be the appropriate word. So they had been singing all these bluegrass songs that were, basically based back in the hills where I come from, and they decided there needed to be some new standards that reflect Kansas. So they've got these songs on there like Flint Hills Girl and Waltz in the Tall Grass, and so it's just some wonderful Kansas tunes in that bluegrass style. So the most beautiful thing on here is one, We Share a Heart, that Kirk wrote for Becky Drager. And if you recall, we interviewed Becky, who is a phenomenal artist, when we were at the Mountain Plains Art Fair. That's what it was. So if you go back, you can catch that interview with Becky. But some great new standards, and folks are going to love. And, so much of what they write about is like nature. And, when I first came to Kansas, I don't know if I had seen a cottonwood tree before I came to Kansas. And that first spring in Kansas, when, that cotton is blowing all over the place, I'm like, what is this? Is the milkweed just gone crazy?
Summer snow. Yeah.
Summer snow, exactly. And so the cottonwood was so important, to the Native Americans who were here, to the pioneers, to, still important piece of Kansas, and of course our state tree.
Yeah. What's nice is we used to have a cabin over at Council Grove, and you could go out into a grove of cottonwood trees that were 100 feet tall, and all you could hear is the wind in the leaves, and it was very, very peaceful. So it's a nice part of Kansas. It
sure is. Well, let's take a look. They have been firewood, meeting places, food, forage, and medicine. They have been refuge from the blazing sun and canoes to float down the Smoky or Republican rivers. They were so important to Kansans, native and pioneer alike, that they became our state's leafy symbol, the cottonwood. While Kansas is noted for its absence of trees, the cottonwood grows mostly along the rivers and tributaries to great dimensions, one of the largest hardwoods in North America. A variety of poplar, it grows quickly, as much as 6 feet in a season, which also makes the wood particularly weak. They are also quite tolerant of flood, drought, erosion, and layers of mud being washed upon their trunks. Like Kansans, they can survive almost anything. The seeds are borne in the wind on cottony tufts, which allow them to travel great distances. Perhaps the greatest allure of this tree is the way the leaves move in the wind, like chimes designed to catch even the faintest movement. Native tribes considered them sacred, and some said the whispering among the leaves was the path of the sacred spirits. Libby Custer, wife of the famed cavalry officer George Armstrong Custer, wrote about the value of the bark of the young trees in sustaining the soldiers. In almost any other area of the country, the cottonwood would be the least desirable of trees, but to the Indian, and in many instances our troops, the tree has performed a service for which no other tree has been found its equal, and that is forage for the horses and mules during the winter season, when the snow prevents even the dried grass from being obtainable. The mighty cottonwood was designated the Kansas state tree in 1937.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
Join Kansas Wheat, King Arthur Flour, and Red Star Yeast for the 2015 National Festival of Bread, Saturday, June 13th at the Hilton Garden in Manhattan. You won't want to miss it.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Welcome back to Around Kansas, and Frank's got his picnic shirt on today, so I guess we're talking about picnic again, aren't we, Frank?
Yes, we are. And I hope you're enjoying these stories about picnic. Of course, it was filmed in Kansas 60 years ago in 6 different Kansas communities, basically in south central Kansas, Hutchinson, Salina, Halstead. And anyway, of course, it also, the movie won 2 Academy Awards. It got 6 nominations. Anyway, I decided it would be fun to go behind the scenes and tell some stories about what happened during the filming, like them getting eaten up by mosquitoes and it taking till the middle of the night to do a love scene, and all of the people on site would just say, okay, I've had enough, and go home. But anyway, there are all kinds of things that went on during the filming of that, so we're going to kind of take a look at one more thing. I hope you're enjoying this trivia about the movie Picnic. It was a big movie that was filmed 60 years ago here in the state of Kansas. Of course, written by William Inge, Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright and author. Here's an interesting thing. In 1957, a marketing investigator, James Vickery, announced that for 6 weeks he had included subliminal messages in showing of this movie. The messages supposedly said, "Eat popcorn, drink Coca-Cola." According to Vickery, the sales of these products increased from 18 to 57%. Even though his experiment led him to fame, Vickery never gave details of how he came to his conclusions. Here's the deal. He admitted it later in an interview that everything was just a trick. It was a hoax. So the subliminal messages weren't there in the movie Picnic or any other movies, if you ever heard about that. Again, the play Picnic takes place entirely on Mrs. Potts and the Owens front porches and front lawns. No action at the picnic or anywhere else is seen. There is a famous scene, though. Now, the picnic celebrates Neowalla, which is Halloween backwards. And anyway, we'll talk more about that in another edition of Picnic 60 years ago in the great state of Kansas.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Well-designed container flower gardens bring beauty to your home, at your entry, on your patio, or placed in a special spot in your landscape. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plant combinations which will add the color and style you need and that will survive the summer to provide beauty till frost.
Our annual flat sale is going on now. Choose a flat of 4 packs for just $18.99.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest 3/4 of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
Around Kansas, brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. We're back again. Good morning. Kansas really, a lot of people traveled through the state of Kansas to get to California. That was a lot of it, but a lot of people also just stayed because it was such a beautiful place to be, and of course great cropland. But one of the other big heritages of the state are the railroads.
Railroads, it was everything. In the 19th century, we're sitting here in Topeka that Cyrus K. Holliday founded, and he also founded the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway. And the same night that Cyrus K. Holliday was standing down here beside the Kaw River announcing that this would be a town, and they were just standing in the sticks basically, the senator from Missouri was back in Maryland making a speech about Kansas and how Kansas was perfect for the railroad. And he was encouraging people to come out here and settle, and Kansas has the most perfect cropland. Everything you just said, the senator was saying that in Maryland and encouraging people to come. But the railroad was going to be literally the vehicle for all of that. The railroad was everything about America in the 19th century. And just as, we are the heart of America. So the crossroads, literally, it all came to bear on Kansas. And of course shaped our state, it shaped our economy, it shaped everything. Bill Cody, my favorite American, Bill Cody was going to capitalize on that. And right outside of Hayes, Bill and a couple of his buddies were going to build the town. They were going to build Rome. That's what they called their town. They were going to build Rome. And they had inside information that the railroad was going to come through there. Well, it didn't. So their plans just kind of, fell by the wayside. But yeah, you can't say enough about the impact the railroads have on Kansas history.
Well, part of that is, I'm doing stories on the opera houses, and that did spur the development of a lot of the opera houses across the state. In fact, the railroads owned a lot of those opera houses and the theater companies that toured them as well. So the railroads had a great deal to do with what the heritage of Kansas as far as theater goes too. As we know, there are a lot of people from Kansas that have gone on to great things in music and theater and dance and the whole thing.
That's amazing. Well, my friend J.R. Sanders found this really interesting story from Kansas railroad history. Railroads have played a major role in the history of Kansas and continue to shape our economy and landscape. Historian J.R. Sanders offers this glimpse into a train derailment that occurred more than 100 years ago. On May 14, 1905, unknown persons derailed an Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe train near Emporia, Kansas. Several people were badly injured, 2 seriously. No deaths resulted despite early news reports. Emporia's city marshal quickly arrested 2 vagrants on suspicion, and the following day the Emporia Gazette reported that the suspects were being, quote, sweated out by the marshal and the 3 AT&SF detectives assigned to the case, H. Germain, Joe Burge, and Frank Calhoun. A former Galena, Kansas City marshal, Calhoun was a veteran lawman with a sharp eye and a keen instinct for crime. Unfortunately, this case was destined to go unsolved. 2 months later, while still assigned to the case, Calhoun visited Cedarvale, about 100 miles south. While there, he spotted a couple of suspicious characters in the railroad yard. William Chadbourne, a self-styled bad man who called himself Billy the Kid, and his jailhouse pal, Ed Madigan, were lying low after robbing a poker game in nearby Winfield 2 days earlier. Learning the men he saw fit the description of the Winfield robbers, Calhoun alerted the Cedarvale marshal and offered his assistance. When the lawmen confronted the bandits, a fierce gunfight erupted, and Chadbourne shot and killed Frank Calhoun. Chadbourne and Madigan fled on stolen horses to nearby Hewins, where a citizen's posse made short work of them. Madigan was shot from his saddle and hit the ground dead. Chadbourne died of his wounds days later. The opposite careers of outlaw Will Chadbourne and law dog Frank Calhoun are detailed in J.R.'s book, Some Gave All, Forgotten Old West Lawmen Who Died with Their Boots On, available wherever you purchase books.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
If you missed the opportunity to apply crabgrass preventer to your lawn last month, there's still time. Apply Fertilum's new product, Professional Turf Weed Out Plus Crabgrass Preventer. This product kills new crabgrass. It also prevents new crabgrass and other weeds, kills dandelions, and fertilizes your lawn all in one application.
Visit Jackson's. We'll show you how to grow the best lawn in your neighborhood.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
Join Kansas Wheat, King Arthur Flour, and Red Star Yeast for the 2015 National Festival of Bread, Saturday, June 13th at the Hilton Garden in Manhattan. You won't want to miss it.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Around Kansas, brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. Go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
When the open range era came to an end, the homesteaders and settlers moved into Kansas and started building something that would change the life of the cowboys forever. I'm referring to fences. And this poem is based on the true story of the invention of barbed wire. It's called The Death of Open Range. Let me tell you of a time when open range was in its prime. Cowboys rode their horses forth and drove the huge herds of cattle north. We could ride all over this great land, unfettered by the human hand. Then a farmer over Illinois way invented something that's used to this day. His name was Mr. Joseph Glidden. He was doing the homesteaders' bidding. He took a pair of heavy pliers and wrapped barbs around a long piece of wire. The barb's sharp points kept stock in or out. It could be used for fencing all about. For the open range, it was a turn of events, 'cause barbed wire made it easy to string a fence. Barbed wire succeeded more than Glidden had planned. Soon fences crisscrossed the open land. The Old West changed with Glidden's invention, and it caused the cowboys apprehension. No more could we ride over free open range, and the cowboy's role would be forever changed. Homesteaders and nesters scarred this land and changed the role of the old cowhand. The cowboy's work continues on, but the days of the open range are gone. That open range would have no more hope. That's why cowboys called barbed wire the devil's rope. Happy trails.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy's dream. We're the best part of Dorothy's